name is Lydia Kostopoulos, and I'm a strategy and emerging technologies advisor with a deep passion for body data tracking and human performance. This set of healthy aging protocol interviews delves into perimenopause, specifically the perimenopause game plan. Such an important life event that women experience requires a game plan, is my thought. And so in this series, I'll be interviewing people to ask them, what is their game plan? How are they going through it? How are they preparing for it? How are they posturing for it? I hope you enjoy these set of interviews. Hi, Voni. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Hi, Lydia. So pleased and honored actually to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So I was wondering, maybe we could start with an introduction. Could you tell us a little bit about you?
Right. So my name is Vonayi Nyamazana, and I was born in Zimbabwe. That is Southern Africa. I grew up there, went to school there, got married there, had my children there. And then in 2002, we decided to come to the United Kingdom. And I have worked as a public prosecutor in the Ministry of Justice in Zimbabwe. I did that for 10 years before we decided to come to the UK with my 2 sons and my husband. In the UK, I came and I did some studies. I got my LLB honors. That's a law degree, and worked within the social care system. And yeah, mostly it's social care and the health system. And then I've worked in voluntary organizations. And now, since April, I've been working on my project, which is supporting Black women and other ethnic minorities to get a better understanding of the menopause journey, how it affects them, because I don't know if you are aware, it does affect us a little bit differently to the white women, and I suppose that is due to, genetic predispositions, culture as well. You know, our responses to things that happen to us will be influenced by who we are, what we believe in, and that sort of thing. And so, yeah, I am 56 years old, and I think I'm very newly postmenopausal. So still like, God, this better be it. You know?
Thank you so much for that. What an amazing journey from Africa to the UK and the many professional things you've done. I can't wait to hear more about your menopausal work. But before that, I'd love to hear, what is your healthy aging protocol? What do you do personally to focus on your healthy aging?
Really good question, because this is all new to me. And I think I became more focused, on my health and the way forward for me after my encounter, if you like, with menopause. And so now I honestly, I do every day think about my health. My health is in the physical health. My health is in what I'm eating, my mental health, my emotions, what matters to me. And so moving forward, honestly, I do want to be well enough to enjoy my children, to enjoy their children, to enjoy my retirement. I want to be able to walk without feeling pain. I want to be able to skip if I can, to run I don't know if I will run, but I'd love to, I want to have that option to do this stuff that I enjoy. I want to travel and not have somebody push me in a chair when I'm traveling, get into to the plane. I want to go and have fun with my friends without worrying that, oh my God, I might not feel well and have a bag full of painkillers and tablets. And so I am focusing on keeping very fit, if you like. I'm focusing on, what am I eating? What is it doing to me? What am I putting in my body this morning? What is it doing for me? So everything now that I'm eating, it must matter. I cannot afford to just put something in my body that will make me suffer. because I've seen what that does because of my experiences with perimenopause, and I don't want to go back there. I really want to be as young as I can be. Even when I'm 90, I want to be called, she's a young 90-year-old. Do you know what I mean? I want to be able to read books, and understand what I'm reading and enjoy what I'm reading. I want to be able to talk and keep a conversation going and maintain that conversation with my friends. And so it really matters to me. Health, and more health is my healthy aging, I suppose, protocol, if you like. It really matters to me to be well enough to enjoy my marriage. I've been married for 29 years, and I don't want that to change because my husband has to do things for me that, if it can be helped, that I can do for myself. So all
This is
round
so
wellness
wonderful.
for me, I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy me because I spent so much time working so hard, looking after everybody, and now I think it's my time. So why should I not be well enough to enjoy my time? Because now I do
Mm-hmm.
have the time, I do have the resources. I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about childcare. I don't have to worry about, oh, we can't go on holiday at certain times because my kids are in
Mm-hmm.
school. So this is the time for me. And it really matters for everybody out there to invest in yourself.
Mm. Your protocol is so fascinating because so I've been asking a lot of people this question, and yours is the most vivid. It's the like I can see it. It is so illustrative. You have a very sharp focus on exactly the outcome that you want to achieve. And that in essence is your driver. Most people, they want similar things, but you've described it in such a very detailed way. And I love how goal driven, but it's more than goal driven. It's more like life well lived driven. It is.
Being very intentional on a daily basis, being very intentional what I'm going to do today to make my life worthwhile and to invest everything into my future as an older woman. What do I want? What I'm doing now. If I start drinking Coca-Cola, I mean, I was addicted to it for years. If I continue doing that, I have to ask myself, what is it doing for me for tomorrow and for the next 10
Hmm.
years? If I continue taking all the sugars,
So you want a return on investment
absolutely.
on every decision. Could you tell me a little bit about your daily? So you said every day. What is kind of like your daily structure around these types of intentional things you do for the future?
It's getting up, just getting up, because it's very easy to not get up when you don't have to. So it's being intentional that if I want to have a full day, I have to get up early enough to enjoy it and to prepare for it. Because there was a time that I would actually just have a lie-in till about 10 or 11,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, half the day is gone. But now I'm being very intentional. If I can get up at 6 in the morning, the quietness, the silence, it prepares my head for the day ahead. And it
Mm-hmm.
actually, it makes you calmer, because at that time you have time to come into yourself. If you in the UK right now, well, the weather, oh, it's supposed to be good. It's as good, I suppose, as we will get. It's nicer, it's lighter. You can go
Mm-hmm.
outside, and
Mm-hmm.
it's whether it's a bit colder, cooler, warmer, it's still very calming and fresh. If you've got a garden that you like, I like walking about and just looking at what I planted in the garden. So calming
Mm-hmm.
first thing in the morning, and just having those my morning drinks, and being intentional about what my morning drink is, what I put in first thing. I used to put in coffee every morning first thing. I would actually
Mm-hmm.
crave coffee. I still love my coffee. I've had to reduce that. So it's then having my drinks. It's always a warm drink with a bit of lemon, a little bit of honey, or if it's a turmeric drink, whatever it is I'm putting in. Just as I'm preparing for my physical day, I'm also preparing my body for the day and everything else that will follow. So it's what I put in then. And then I'm looking at what my day is going to be like. What preparations do I have to do or make for my the project that I'm working on? Do I have any emails? Do I have any write-ups to do? I'm also a writer. I love writing. I love blogging. And so I always plan, what am I blogging? You know, who do I need to contact for my next event that I'm putting on? So I do all that. And I have a to-do list, I'm afraid to say. But I'm very proud of my to-do list because it keeps me focused. Brain fog has taught me that I am no longer that sharp to remember everything. And so my to-do list really helps me. I have a week-long to-do list and I have a daily to-do list, which helps me to not to forget that, you know, I've got Lydia this morning that I have to talk to. And I have my reminders, like it reminded me yesterday that I've got you today, and it reminded me earlier today. And so I prepare. So the way I manage myself now is to prepare for everything. If I do not, I get out of sync, I get disoriented, I forget, and that really is upsetting. Not just for me, but it means I'm letting people down and I'm letting myself down. And so I go through all that. That's probably part of most of my morning. And then I love meeting people. I love talking to people. And, you know, if I'm meeting friends, I will do that. If I'm talking to somebody on the phone, if I'm walking, I will either do it first thing in the morning, which is nice and quiet and crisp, whilst I'm listening to something motivational, something to do with menopause most of the time, because that's what I'm researching, that's what I'm working on, that's what I'm doing now. And so I do maybe 1.5 hours of walking, which is really good. I enjoy that. And then I come back, I do a bit of gardening, a bit of cooking, and I watch a bit of Netflix as well. That's in the evening, though. I try not to watch TV during the day. I try. I'm addicted, but a loose structure of my day, if you like. But I try to involve things that I love, and that is writing, gardening, walking, and Netflix.
This is so wonderful because what I argue that a healthy aging protocol is actually a definition of what it looks like to have a life well lived for each individual. And what you have described is exactly that. Not only have you described it with great enthusiasm and passion, but you can see that you are living this life that is your own, that you have self-determination. And I love the morning routine. I mean, you're not the first person to talk about the importance of getting up early. And I can see for you how it's grounded you. And the beginning of the day really can set you up for success or failure if you don't start it out right. But I love how intentional you are getting the movement in and also really sprinkling the day with things that bring you joy, which is really cool. So with that, let's talk about the main question here, which is your perimenopause game plan. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, well, you know, I could laugh all the way to heaven and back on that one because I didn't have one. You know, there just was there was no time to have one because I didn't know. And you know, you just don't know what you don't know. I stumbled into menopause. You know, I was blindsided into perimenopause. I had no idea at all, and that takes me back to my background, where you know we are not encouraged to talk about anything that is too personal. You know, it just doesn't happen in our culture. So menopause, whether it was a taboo or just something that just wasn't spoken about or they didn't know about it, I'm still doing my research on that one. But, I got to my 40s and I'd never had a conversation about menopause. It is sad to say that for somebody who, quite educated, I would say, had no idea what menopause encompassed. Really, really sad. And so I had no plan. My plan was just to survive. It was about surviving each day. And it was almost like someone who is drowning, but every now and then you come up for breath and then you drown again because the symptoms were relentless, and I had them just one after the other. They were so debilitating and severe for me, and I understand that it's not the same for everyone. For me, they were just coming, and I was left battered, bruised, limping, and just so desperate for help. And so truly, if there was any game plan, it was, how do I survive today? What should I be grasping for today to get past joint pain? So severe. I thought I had bone cancer or something. I started forgetting things, and I would pray so much, because being a Christian, our faith is so important to us, and we pray. I prayed so much for my mind to be restored. I thought the devil is trying to steal my mind, because I was such a sharp person, and I always had good ideas, but all that went out. I was always motivated. All that out out of the window, gone. I started getting losing my hair, and I think the first indicator for me was the exhaustion. It was just, I was tired. I would wake up tired, spend the day tired, go to bed. I was just tired. Back then, when that started, I didn't have the night sweats as yet. I didn't get the hot flashes then. They came on later, few years down the line. But the tiredness, I couldn't put any reason. I didn't know what it was, until someone suggested, why don't you try vitamin D? And I thought, oh, what will that do? And they said, sometimes it makes you feel better. This wasn't even the GP I was talking to. It was colleagues. My colleagues were a bit older than I was. And so they had gone through all this. So I tried vitamin D from the chemist. I didn't go to the GP. And it was slightly better. Now, what I didn't understand then was, this is an aside, but it's important, was that vitamin D is so important for us, people with darker skin. We don't absorb it very well. Now, coming from a country where the sun blazes, we didn't have to worry about vitamin D. We just got it. Just step outside. We lived in 34, 35, 36 degrees most of the time. Never had to worry about vitamin D. I come across to a country where there's no sun, and I had no idea that I had to take a supplement. And so I think for about 15 years, I went without any vitamin D coming in, either from the sun or from taking a supplement. Even the summers here, the vitamin D we get from the sun is not enough, even in the summer. So we definitely take like a higher dosage of vitamin D. I had no idea. So whatever vitamin D I came into the country with had depleted, so by the time the doctor did do a blood test, I was so deficient, and I had to take a higher dosage of vitamin D. And that is going back maybe around 2016, when I went to the GP. But nobody talked about menopause, talked about, oh, no, it was just, you are deficient in vitamin D. Take vitamin D. And then I remember looking at my notes this year, 2024, my medical notes, and I noticed that in 2016, I'd actually gone and said, I'm feeling hot all the time. Now, I didn't know what that was. I was just telling the GP, I'm not feeling well these days. I get hot. It's in my notes. Patient reports feeling hot. And he did put hot flashes, but nothing was said about menopause. Nothing. This is 2016. We trudge along, we get along. So no, I didn't have a game plan. My game plan was just to manage what I was going through, to manage my low mood, to manage loss of libido. And I didn't even know there's such a thing that is called loss of libido. I just found myself just not being nice maybe to my husband, just not feeling the same way, and wondering if this is the end of my marriage.
Oh wow.
Is this how marriages end? Is this how love? I thought love maybe just disappears. And
Yeah.
is this it? So lack of knowledge, it's not a good thing. And now I talk about knowledge is power, because when you have that knowledge, you then know what to do. You have options. And the best thing that happened to me, Lydia, was discovering that what I was going through was menopause. But this was after, oh my God, months of searching and reading. And for myself, by myself, I came across this is menopause. And the relief, that relief that this thing I'm going through has a name. I cannot describe it. It's just one of the best things that, I'm not dying of bowel cancer because I had severe IBS. I do not have young onset dementia because my forgetfulness was just becoming out something else. And I'm not going crazy. I'm not dying of some strange unknown disease.
Yeah.
I've got menopause. And then my journey started, my journey of knowledge, my journey of empowering myself and finding what works for me, my journey to manage this season of my life, which I would say is a storm, was a storm, was like walking through, how can I describe it? Walking through a dark tunnel and not seeing the end. And when you think, wow, this is over, something else comes. And you are fighting with that particular thing, and then something else comes. So it was like crisis management and walking through a dark place and thinking, is this my life now? Is this how it's going to be? And for how long? And you hear some people saying, oh, I sailed through. And you wish, why not me? You ask God, why did I have to be the one that got the worst of them?
In a call we had, you mentioned that your auntie prepared you for menstruation, but no one prepared you for perimenopause.
Absolutely.
If you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, to prepare your younger self, like your auntie prepared you for menstruation, how would you prepare your younger self for perimenopause?
If I knew this in like my 30s, I would start putting my house in order.
How?
How
Explain.
for retirement. Yeah, how for retirement we're told get your insurances, get your pensions, get your this. I would start to invest in knowledge. That's the first thing. Get knowledge, get understanding, get wisdom. What is menopause? How is it likely to affect me? And what are my options in terms of treatment solutions? And so I would read as much, talk to health professionals, start to eat right, prepare my body for that time. Because I've discovered that this thing attacked me and had a party on my body because my body was not prepared. It went down. So I would start to prepare my body by getting rid of the stuff that should not be going in my body, understanding what my body responds to well. You know, there are foods that your body will like, and then there are foods that your body rejects. I would start to focus on that and eliminate the stuff that doesn't feed me, that doesn't feed my body, that doesn't feed my cells, that doesn't do anything for my blood. Understanding my medical history, definitely a big plus on there. You know, my family has a history of high blood pressure. My mom had a stroke and then finally passed, and she'd had high blood pressure for as long as I can remember, all her life. So I know she had 6 children. All 6 of us have got high blood pressure. So I would be looking at, as somebody with high blood pressure, how should I be looking after myself so that when this time comes, I am ready for it? You know, what are the options for me in terms of treatment that do not counteract the high blood pressure medication and treatments that I'm on? You know, what other history is there in my family that I need to be aware of? I would get that in place. I would start to find out in terms of health checks for women, for myself. Honestly, what do I need to start keeping track of? Mammograms, smear tests, eye tests, all that. Just putting myself, it's aligning me for this journey and for this thing that is to come. What do I need to be ingesting in terms of vitamins and supplements? So for me, it would be understanding me as a person, getting a proper PhD. I see you've got PhD there. Getting a proper PhD into me as a person. And once I have that, I will then know how to go ahead and manage myself. By the time 45 comes, hopefully this menopause thing would not hit me as hard as it did, because my body is well prepared, my mind is well prepared. Knowledge wise, I know how to even talk to the people around me, my children, my husband, that if this time comes and this happens, this is why.
Right. The PhD of you would be your perimenopause game plan.
Absolutely.
So you've transitioned from law work, and then right now you said you're working on menopause work. Tell me a little bit about that menopause work and how people can find it if they're interested.
Of course, following my storm, if you like, I wish there'd been someone that I could talk to who would understand 100% what I'm going through. And I thought, I'm going to be that person for others. Yes, there were so many groups, but I could not find people like me in terms of ethnicity that were talking about menopause. I tried to reach out to friends, to family, but they were just like me. We were in the same boat. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to be that person that someone can call and say, I feel this way. I don't understand. And we can have a chat and we can talk. So I started a platform or a project that supports these women in terms of giving information, support, and then an awareness, and somebody that can go out and talk to businesses, to churches, to conferences, and I'm doing that. And
that's good.
I started by just blogging about my stories, my experiences. This is what is happening to me, hoping that somebody will say, yes, me too. And that's how it started. I did get those yes, me too. And we started a group of women who we just talk about this to help each other. It's peer support. And now that has grown. I'm getting funding to do projects, to work with women, to give them the support that they need, we've got a helpline that we are launching actually tonight. And it's just to talk to somebody who needs someone to talk to.
That's amazing.
Thank you. We don't have clinical advice, but we are a listening ear. We are somebody that you can talk to and cry. We can laugh about our experiences. We do mentorship programs, we do conferences. During Menopause Awareness Month, we do a big conference every year around that, where we all come together. And it's not to talk about all the sad things about menopause, but it is to celebrate us as women, our strength, our resilience, our beauty, our grace. It's just to celebrate us and say, guys, you know what? We've been through all this and we are still standing.
Yes. And how can people find this? What is your website? Where can they find this information?
We do have a website. It is Ketura, Ketura, woman.org. So Ketura was my mom's name. It is, I think, the biblical name that could be Kathleen, if you like. And it is a Hebrew name, and it means an aura and a fragrance. It also means a sacrifice. And I thought, perfect for us after we've gone through what we've gone through. At the end of it all, we've got this wisdom, this aura, and we come out with grace. And we've sacrificed all our life, for the past 4 decades, looking after everybody, giving birth, looking after our kids, making sure they become good humans. And now here we are, so that's the name behind that. But I also wanted to mention that the one thing going forward for me, the one thing that I've come to understand is, and I think I told you before, it's my grandmother. So I looked at the life of my grandmother and how her lifestyle, she lived in the countryside and her whole life was organic, completely organic. She lived on a farm. She was surrounded by animals. She was surrounded by plants, trees. She did everything herself. Everything she ate was organic. It was from the land. She worked on the land. She had organic vitamin D. She was out there in the sun. She was moving because she would get up first thing in the morning, take care of her yard, if you like, the space where she lived, her homestead, take care of her chickens, take care of her little garden, take care of the, go and get organic milk straight from the cows. And she did not have to rush about like we do. The rushing woman syndrome, where we are woken up by the alarm, we are rushing, we are taking kids to school, we're driving here and there, we are cooking, we're washing, we're ironing, too much stuff going on. She just took each day as it came. There was no rush, there was no alarm, everything organic. She ate very well. She was surrounded by healing plants. So if she needed to take any vitamins, there's a plant for it. If she needed to take any supplements, everything was there. She had a headache. There were no tablets with extra things added onto it. And so I look at her lifestyle and it motivates me, it inspires me to change my lifestyle. She lived well into her 90s, nearly 100. I don't remember her being ever admitted into a hospital. I don't remember her suffering or struggling with illnesses, simply because there were no toxins going into her body. Did she go through menopause? She definitely did at some point, but honestly, that woman didn't stop. It wasn't, oh, my joints, I can't walk, somebody push me. She got up and she did stuff, but it's because of what she put into her body. It was the mindset. It was everything around her. I want to follow that. I want to be like that. I want to live that way.
Your grandmother's inspiration.
She's my mentor, even though she's, she rest in peace. She's been gone now for a good 30 years, but she is my inspiration. And I aspire to be like that.
Thank you so much for sharing that story of your grandma and your healthy aging protocol, which is inspired by your very vivid vision of your future, and your perimenopause game plan, which you didn't have, but now you know what it would be. And I'm really excited about your hotline coming out because I know that it's going to help many, many people. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk.
Amazing. Thank you so much for giving me this platform. As you can tell, I do talk a lot. I love talking. So thank you for giving me that platform.
Thank you for what you've shared. I appreciate it. This series is meant to capture personal stories of individual healthy aging protocols and is for informational purposes only, and it does not constitute providing medical advice or professional services. Those seeking personal medical advice should consult with a licensed healthcare practitioner.